All right. Thank you for tuning in. You see it. We are back, baby. It's another show, and this is the wrap up. Thank you for tuning in and checking us out. You see it. I'm here with my guy, Eru, back in the building. You know, we back on the. Oh, my bad. So I was about to go into some Jay-Z stuff. Now, you know where we was going. Anyway, what's up, brother? How you doing? You good?
Good as always, man. Always coming in hot. Don't ever know what's going on. Last seconds of everything for me. So it always turns out to be a good thing, man. No matter what happens, that's how I love it. Though.
That's why I like it like this, because honestly, if y'all followed Still Nick fans, we've been doing this 4 years. Just our other shows, we had shows back in the day. We used to be structured to be like, okay, we're going to do this at this time. At 15-minute point, we're going to do this. We're going to have this we used to have structured shows. We said, you know what? Let's just have it free flowing. Kind of like everything is like barbershop talk. You know what I mean? It just goes with the flow. If y'all knew behind the scenes, I'm going through different stuff behind here. It's not supposed to work this way. So eventually we're going to get it right. It's going to be a new look. And so this will be a little bit more cleaner and seamless. But bear with us. It's coming. It's coming. Maybe next week we'll have it ready.
It's a development show, yeah, man. You know, so people understand all that. You know, this is YouTube. We're not sponsored by, you know, the biggest brands and stuff like that. This is just some guys with a dream putting stuff together, man. So it's good.
I like that, man. That's
from my perspective too. I like coming in hot and I know when it's going on because it's like I'm a fan. You know, so right. I give the fan perspective because I never heard of the artist or not really familiar. You know, I just kind of like went through it real quick, and now I have like an immediate reaction type of thing. So I'm kind of
exactly right. That's what's gonna happen. One day I'm gonna just tell Eru, yo, we got a special guest on the show. Boom, we're gonna do the intro. Then boom, Jay-Z. Whoa.
Let me get
$50. Bear with us. Anyway, so we got another special guest here today. If you guys checked out the NBA wrap up, you will see he was already chopping it up with me. He definitely knows his sports stuff, and he is a very dope hip-hop artist that I think you guys are going to be really excited to hear from. And then when you hear his music, you're going to know what I'm talking about. So let me welcome to the stage, without further ado, once again, Mr. Big Stet, the real Big Stet in the building. Yeah, here
yo. What it do?
Yes, sir. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh man, had that wonderful NBA wrap up. Now we getting into the nitty gritty. Let's go.
Yes. This is where it goes down. This is when we start to really chop it up. So Eru, listen, you know what? Why don't you ask the first question? So I feel like I'm always the one asking the first question. Why don't you ask the first question?
First question. What can I ask here? Influences, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you're from North Carolina. Spoiler alert, you're from Raleigh, North Carolina. So where's your influences from that? What does hip hop begin with you?
Well, I live in Raleigh. I was born in Durham and I grew up in Hillsborough, which was one of the former capitals of North Carolina. So I grew up in the country, man. My first music was in the church. You know what I'm saying? Grew up in the church. Grandma went to church almost 5 nights a week type thing. So grew up in the church. I was forced to sing in the kids choir, which was not bad. It wasn't like I was mad or anything, but it started there. And then my granddaddy, he had a outhouse, we call it the smokehouse, outside, and he used to play music from Friday afternoon all the way till Sunday night. And Marvin Gaye, Al Green, Otis Redding. I was forced to listen to all this stuff growing up. You know, I didn't have a choice. There was no, you know, he didn't want to listen to, I guess, the hip hop at that time, which would have been like the early 90s. So, you know, just getting those real 70s and 80s, a lot of Ray Charles, a lot of Stevie Wonder, you know, that type of vibes. Obviously, Michael Jackson was definitely a crazy influence. But then, you know, as the 90s were developing and going into the late 90s, early 2000s, man, I was probably the biggest No Limit and Cash Money fan it was. I was a big Dragon fan. I was a big DMX fan. Who else? Obviously, Jay-Z. I was a big Dipset fan. I thought Cameron was doing something that nobody else was doing in the entire world, his type of rap. UGK. And I like every R&B group in the 90s I like. Silk was probably one of my favorites. I listened to a lot of Silk. And my mom, she used to be out all over the place partying, and she used to get these mixtapes or mix CDs when they first started dropping with different blends on them and stuff like that. So it just helped me fall in love with music even more, besides listening to the radio with a tape and double press and record and getting those you know those tracks that you heard on the radio only, well, at that time for me. So, you know, a lot of the good stuff.
Yeah, that's very similar to a lot of people, man. But the connection is the soul. You know, it started from the church. You know what I'm saying? The church, and also the classic soul your grandfather played, and then trickled down into like you said, No Limit Soldier and stuff like that. I mean, it's still that country, it's still that soul, that original type of stuff. Like even some of the people that you mentioned, Dragon too. A lot of people mention Dragon. So I mean, you know, there's a lot of guys that are unorthodox and soulless. So I could definitely see where you're coming from with all.
Outkast too, man. Outkast was a crazy big influence. Just their melodic sound, and you know, not being scared to like push the envelope on what you could do as a hip hop artist, you know. So they definitely had a lot of influence on my music and the type of music I like to make today, which is just, you know, music from the soul, music from the heart, not really trying to follow a lane or a certain direction, just making what comes to you, hearing a beat and your mind start running and going, you know. So
yeah, definitely.
That's dope. That's dope, man. I mean, listen, it's funny, man. Everybody, you know, origin stories are so different, even though there's similarities. But just listen to how people get involved with things, what you know resonates with you, what you grew up on, because being from New York, growing up, obviously a lot of everything that I listened to was like the New York related, New York biased type music. And then it took us a minute to kind of start welcoming in the South and other places, even West Coast hip hop. I think there's been a lot of West Coast hip hop that has stood the test of time. But I think what really, it's not, I don't want to say he's the best of West Coast hip hop because there's been a lot of good West Coast, but I think Tupac kind of really opened things up for the West Coast and made it a little bit more of a mainstream thing, because it really helped me really understand what they had going on out there. But I think, you know, even Outkast and the Goody Mob, and I mean, just so much that's happened, you know, from the South that really revolutionized music. It's what makes that time one of the best times in hip hop, in my opinion. And I see how it definitely has influenced you. And then later, when we get to kind of hear your sound, I think people will understand like how you've been heavily influenced by different genres of music, because you've got different cadences, different flows, and you definitely have a pocket that I think resonates with what I like to listen to. So yeah, but that's dope. So who would you say do you think is like you know, maybe your biggest influence? I mean, because that's the type of music you listen to, but is like, was there someone, a particular artist that you like gravitated to, like this is my guy?
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, you know, the way he attacks a song, more or less his albums are dynamic, but the way he attacks a mixtape, I thought that when he started dropping those mixtapes, it kind of changed the dynamic of rap. We deal with rap with punchlines, but that was kind of through battle rap. But I thought when Lil Wayne started kind of pushing more into those mixtapes, he kind of made rap start over again, because then he started putting the super dynamic bars in there that you would hear and you have to go back and listen to 3 or 4 times again. You like, hold up, what did he say? Let me go back. And, you know, a lot of people say, you know, Eminem does that too. And he does, you know what I'm saying? But I just thought that, you know, Lil Wayne had a real touch to my music career. And him, Usher. I used to listen to a lot of Usher. I got a song called "Oh Five You Know," and I said, it's boom bop to the tune drop. I'm too hot. I'm Jay-Z, J. Cole, X, Usher, and Tupac. And I meant that too, because, you know, all of them kind of, you know, when I think about my rhymes and stuff like that, everybody borrows. They talk about comedians stealing jokes. Most MCs borrow a flow from another guy and they make it their own. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to say the same word verbatim, but if I'm saying something in the same melody or the same tone or the same flow, you know what I'm saying? I'm borrowing your bar. You know what I'm saying? I'm borrowing your flow. So I like to do that a lot and take old flows that you might have hadn't heard in years and put it into a new song, you know, something fresh.
Yeah, to flip it, that's hip hop right there, man. I mean, even with the classic soul beats and stuff, you know, like sampling and stuff like that, that's always been a part of the culture. You know, like you borrow something, but not just steal it. You know, the straight up, you know, kind of like Puffy was doing, straight up taking the whole beat, you know, and play it like that. You know, that was really just to get attention, but just the essence of hip hop is just all about sampling pieces, whatever, and then reinventing something, making something brand new. So yeah, that fits right on the line.
Shout out to Brand Nubian and 50 Cent as well, man. Brand Nubian, when I hear their music before they even start rapping, like I'm so locked in because of their beats, and like it just puts me in a different mode when I start rapping. I can dig so much deeper into my mind and try to pull out something that I may have not talked about for a couple of years, because hip hop is nothing but real stories that you make sense in a song, you know. The best hip hop anyway.
Yeah.
Those are all artists that all connect, man. You know, I got this word layers. You know, everything is kind of like layered up there. You know, the way things are going. Like Tupac, he was actually he's from New York, or he could be from down south. I don't know what, but he got so many different layers that's why people love him so much, because everybody could see themselves or the situation or just the way that he says stuff. Everybody can get something from him, man. So, you know, that's a big time example of how that goes down.
Definitely. Yeah. And you know, the story, you know, they say, this is some research that I looked up. Tupac's gravesite is actually in Lumberton, North Carolina.
Wow.
On his family's plot. So you know, it just says a lot about his South roots or whatnot. And you know, I think everybody, you know, has a part of the South in them, you know. You know, we came from what slavery was, and the people who got away, you know, expanded out. So I think a lot of us do have a lot of South in us. A lot of people don't want to recognize it, but you know, that's okay too.
Well, to keep it a buck, a lot of the people that we sampled from down south, like James Brown and all these different guys, man, we sampled all their music and their bass lines and all that stuff, and we reinvented it into a lot of classic music and stuff, man. So hip hop basically kind of like the DNA is from the South, you know.
Let me give y'all my first, before we go any further, let me give y'all my first going to New York story.
Okay.
This is crazy. So my dad was married to a lady. I'm not going to put any names in there. But anywho, her sister lived in White Plains, New York. So I go to White Plains, New York, 2000. She takes me to like, she was a booster. So she takes me to like, I think it's like Broadway and 42nd, something like that. We walking
Times
down
Square.
We walking down. Well, this was, like somewhere in there. We walking, and it's like everything kind of boarded up on this street. And she knock on this door. Somebody opened the door. We don't even see him. He in the cut. It's an African. We walk up 40 steps. Look down each hallway for almost it looked like a quarter mile each way. Every room filled up full of different stuff. One room got socks. One room got white tees. One room got videos. One room got waters. One room got socks. One room got orange t-shirts. Like the craziest thing I ever seen. And it smelled like, it stunk in there because, the Africans didn't wear no deodorant at the time. But it was the craziest thing I ever experienced in my life. I didn't even think stuff like that existed in the world until I actually went to New York and saw it for myself. Like it was bananas.
Right.
That's regular. Yeah. That's regular New York stuff, right, Ron?
Yeah. That's like you see that all the time.
And then I got to, I'm from North Carolina. A lot of stuff closed up early unless you of age at that time. So 2000, I went out. I left up out of the apartment in White Plains at like 12:30, 1 o'clock. I go right to the block, and it's a spot frying chicken fresh at 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God. I was going crazy, yo. Like I was going absolutely crazy that I could buy food late night, fresh. Like, and it was a lot of spots that was open. I was amazed as a kid. You know what I'm saying? In 2000, I think I was like 14 years old. So, my eyes were wide open at that point in time. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen.
Yeah. It's shocking for some people. It's definitely shell shocking because, you're just not used to it, especially when you come from different places. Everything closed up at a certain time. Right. And the reverse happens too. When you raised and grow up in New York and your first trip somewhere else and you like, I'm gonna go to the store real quick, and there ain't no store open. You like what?
There ain't got no stores, no corner stores, nothing. Where the corners at? Where the sidewalks at?
See, like we gonna get together. We're gonna have a good time tonight. We're gonna go to the club. Club closes up at like 2 a.m. What is this? Or if you lucky,
So when y'all come to North Carolina, whenever y'all come to visit, the club gonna close like 2:30. Then we go into the strip club and stay open till 6 in the morning. Then if you really on something, we can go to the liquor house.
Okay. That's what it is. As a youngin going to different places. I didn't know. I was like, what happens after 2? Oh, it closes?
So I'm a liquor house kid. They got pictures of me 90, 91, 92, 4, 5, 6 years old, holding money in the liquor bottle because I used to pour drinks and get tips. So yeah, that's some real country shit. Like
country shit right there.
Yeah, my uncle had a car house literally right next door to my house. It was my grandma's house, but that's why I grew up with my grandparents. So my granddad used to go over there. He used to get beat down to his last dollar, get me to walk back over there, get some money from my grandma, come back with $10 and win the whole pot.
Damn.
Crazy, man. Nostalgia, bro.
That's different. I think we all got our stories like that. It's definitely different though.
It's at the tip of my tongue too. I got family in Freeman, Virginia. That's basically the country too, man. So yeah, man. So I mean, I remember like roadhouses or whatever. We pulling up to some spot. I was like, "What the fuck are we at?" But then like next thing you know, other people start popping up, and then all of a sudden the lights come on in the spot, and they're like, "Yo, this is the club." It's like, "Yeah, this is the club." But then meanwhile, once you relax and get over it, then you're like, "Wow, this is some of
the best fun ever, man."
Yeah.
I tell people, the only difference between country living and city living is trees. Everybody, it's a hood everywhere. Whether my hood got 26 floors straight up, or whether I'm in Philadelphia with a row house that I can't even run past and get off the block before I get shot, or if I'm in the country where I got to run through the woods to get away from somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the same everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just set up different.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you though. I ain't no punk, but something a little scarier about me trying to get away from somebody running throughout the city, down alleys and buildings, and running through the woods. Like I don't know. Like oh no. I'm like I don't know. I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm built for that wood running through the woods type thing. But it's a little different.
Ron is like 6'10" or 6'12" or whatever he is, man. He's tall as I don't know what, man. So
you gonna see me in the woods, B.
Hey, look, but in North Carolina, the gun law is different. Everybody can possess a gun without having a license. So, you run too deep up in the woods, somebody might stop running and wait for you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
It's definitely different. Quick shout out to those tuned in. Definitely appreciate y'all. Smash that like button. Show your love for the show. Shout out to I Am Jarrell. Appreciate you, brother. Harlem CEO is here. Don the Right is in the building. And I see Kenneth Florence Jr. had a really nice question.
Yeah.
Said, what was the catalyst for choosing to pursue music professionally? That is the question right there for those who
let me give a big shout out to Kenneth Florence Jr. You can find him on Instagram at My Ninja Ken. He is one of the most dope producers. First off, he's one of the most dope people that you ever gonna meet. If you want to have a conversation with somebody who has such an even keel and such a different perspective on life, y'all got to tap in with that dude, man. Like that dude is on a whole, like, and he's been that way my whole entire life. Like he has a lot of influence on my music. He doesn't even know it. But my love for music, man, that made me want to pursue it professionally. When I create music, I know that, you know, even though it may have not been heard by millions, I know that when it is heard, that it's going to make a difference in somebody's life. You know, I'm not just talking about making money and killing and dealing and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool too. You know, I ain't knocking nobody who do it. You know, I got some raps where, you know, I get a little greasy too, but I'm trying to give somebody something to listen to that's going to encourage them to do better or make them feel better when they do listen to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that you can get hype on, but you don't want to kill nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's the type
right.
of music I'm producing. I make R&B music too, so it's like I'm trying to hit every corner for real and every angle.
No doubt. Post your stuff in the chat, Kenneth Florence, your Instagram.
I'm telling you, man, that dude has some of the most dynamic beats that you will ever hear. And he's not just a hip hop beat maker, he's a world beat maker. So all you international guys, whoever's in the link live listening, you want to get like some dope international beats that you're never going to hear from anybody else, tap in with this man. He is on point.
Dope. Definitely. And he said, bro, it's deers in the woods.
I ain't doing none of that stuff in the woods, man.
Yeah.
And shout out to my guy Jay Boogie in the building. He says, shout out to the chat, blessings, health, and happiness. Big ups to the panel, Mr. Ron, Grandmaster Eru, a real great guest y'all got today, and my homie Stets. Salute with 3 capital S's. You know how Jay Boogie do.
Jay Boog, my guy.
You can hear his voice in the comment, right?
Yeah, you can. Like you can tell.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. I always tell him that he's awesome, definitely, man.
Yeah, man. We clicked like the day we met each other the first time in the studio, and then the second time he really got to hear me record and do my thing, and it just, you know, made it full circle. So shout out to Jay Boog, the New York Knicks representative, the greatest New York Knicks fan in the world. Let me put that out there.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ron, I know Ron got stuff he wants to get to, man. But you know, what intrigues me just the down south thing, like, because being from New York, you mentioned White Plains and stuff. So when you say White Plains, me in the back of my head is like, man, fuck White Plains, man. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't really New York, right?
Yeah, you know, it's in the back of my head. I'm older now, so I got a little bit more respect. I know where White Plains, I know what goes down over there, but just, you know, in the back of my head, whatever. So I'm just thinking about the culture, like New York City. For me, at least, living in Brooklyn, you know, there's a lot of West Indians, you know, so there's a lot of West Indian influence, you know, especially in the music style of music. Biggie, you know, Biggie is heavily influenced by like reggae music and Busta Rhymes stuff because they're Jamaican.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then you just go down the line from culture, you know, culturally, Spanish, you know, I'm half Spanish myself, you know, so you get a lot of that, you know, just the sound and just everybody just knows each other, you know, just that culture, like you mentioned, the clothing with the Africans and the stuff. Everybody knows those stories. You know, because it's regular. It's like regular stuff when it comes to New York, man. So, you know, Staten Island with everything that was happening down there, just the thing. So that's what New York is all about, you know. So what is that? You know, how do things go down in the South where you're from, in North Carolina and stuff? Like how was the culture down there, the mix and stuff, as it pertains to the culture?
Well, you got influences like Lil Brother was a big influence. Petey Pablo. earlier in my teens, there was a group called Ike and Shice out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and they were dope. Real Dynamite was dope, and these were just people who I was actually able to see and touch, and actually, see their struggles and what they were going through, and to not, let me see how to put it. They showed you what to do and what not to do, with your music or whatnot. So, there were a lot of people doing it, but then again, there wasn't a lot of big artists from North Carolina. Petey Pablo at the time probably was the biggest, probably solo artist. Lil Brother was big, but I still don't feel like they get as much credit as they deserve in the hip hop game.
So where like what's like culturally, like say like like I mentioned, like the backgrounds of certain artists and stuff, and just the way that we're just used to that. So like what's going on down there as far as like the South?
Well, you got to remember North Carolina. So I'm from Hillsborough, North Carolina. It's smack dab in the middle of the state. So, North Carolina is probably one of the biggest drug hubs in the United States. You got to think everything from Florida coming up. We had one road that went from North Carolina all the way to New York, definitely straight through Virginia. So, everything that was coming from Florida or from, down further south had to go through us to get there. So, I've heard stories of Bobby Brown coming through my hometown to buy drugs, Paul McCartney coming through Durham or Hillsborough to get drugs. The influence was crazy. And, you got to think Frank Lucas was from Greensboro. Greensboro and Hillsborough are literally 25 minutes apart. So a lot of his drugs ran through there too. So, it was a big drug culture, even though I guess it seemed like we were more country and didn't get a lot of things until later on. North Carolina was still popping and happening. A lot of people now don't realize that when you come to Raleigh's the capital. So even though it's not as big as Charlotte, we still have 5 universities within a 2-mile radius where you get all this influx and diversity of people. So now we like the melting pot. You have every single race in North Carolina, every single diversity. You still have the hood, you still got the country, and you got everything kind of working together. You got parts of North Carolina that don't have stoplights or sidewalks, that don't have public funding to help build up neighborhoods and communities. There's still a lot of that in North Carolina, but then you got places in North Carolina that are so built up. You like, why is the rest of North Carolina not built up? Raleigh got a Google campus. We were supposed to get an Apple campus. We got an Amazon distribution center. We have Google Chrome and Google Fiber downtown. Like we have everything any other major city has. We're just not a media market, and that makes a major uprise or decline in how the music game goes. It shouldn't be that North Carolina should have to go somewhere else to get popping and then come back. We have the most talent. We shouldn't have to go anywhere with it, but we still do because it's not a lot of love in North Carolina, or if you're not making a certain type of music, if you're not making that type of younger music or something like that, they're not going to really rock with you like that. I'm 36 years old, so a lot of people are like, oh well, you've passed the mark of what you can do. No, I'm not past the mark. You're just gonna hear what you like out of my music, and the rest of it is gonna be for someone else,
Right. And listen, I mean, with regards, sound like a old head would definitely say that, but I'm on my Aaliyah. Age ain't nothing but a number, and when you think about it, like, first off, your look is not that of an old head. You still, I mean, you might be a little older in the game, I guess how they look at it, but you still young looking. You got youth behind you, and your sound is youthful. So, yeah, I think that whole argument is irrelevant. It doesn't apply to you at all.
I mean, a Drake and a J. Cole, both 36, 37 years old.
Exactly.
Killer Mike just won a Grammy, right?
Killer Mike won a Grammy at what, 45, 46, maybe older?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Time flies, but
I try to tell people, I'm like, just because you heard a J. Cole or a Drake, we essentially from the same place. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. J. Cole, he from Fayetteville. That's 45 minutes up the road. You know what I'm saying? Some of the same things or the exact same things he went through, having to make money by cutting lawns during the summer. I've been doing that since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Me and my brother and my cousin used to make beats when we were in the 6th grade off GarageBand and Fruity Loops. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Fruity
were
Loops.
we were literally like making beats, like complex beats, and then we just kind of fell out of love with it at that time, you know. So I've been, you know, I hate when people try to make it seem just because someone's had success that they're better than you just because they haven't heard you. You know what I'm saying? Success is not garnered by that. You know, once you hear something you like, then that's the success of it. It doesn't have to sell a million records. As long as you like it, that's what's important. You know what I'm saying? So once you hear the music and you start to understand that there are more talented people out here than you know, then you like, okay, I got to broaden up my perspective. I got to really start listening and seeing what's going on, because I ain't never heard of this dude. He 36 years old from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Where the hell did he come from? How he start spitting so good? You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That's why I'll be telling Eru, just to say real quick, I'll be telling Eru all the time that the fact that we've been able to do this show, it's super enjoyable for us because, like I said, we love the music, we love the culture, and be able to talk about it and meet new faces, and this, you know, it's like discovering new artists for us because we've never heard of, and there's so much talent out there. So that's kind of the same way I look at it, man. And each time is even better, just being able to be around these people. So, what were you gonna say, Eru? My bad.
You know, I always want to say something, man. that's the problem. But I love being a part of this, man, because even if somebody just glances by this channel and sees you as an artist, you know, that I'm glad to be a part of that. Because I mean, like you said, there's so many different so much talent out there that you're 36, like, damn, how did I miss this guy? You know, you missed him because you lost because we didn't miss nobody back in the days, you know. So we kind of gotta get it back. You know, this computer made us stupid, man.
It made us stupid because we can't touch anybody. You can't go to these record labels and just pop up and say, hey, I got dope music. Listen, you know, back in the day you could, you know. Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to my motivation right here, man. My twin, my dog right here. I got a daughter too, but you know, I do it for this guy. A lot of his stuff, a lot of my stuff, I have him worked in the music algorithm. So when I get paid, he gets paid. Some makes it big. He gets paid through my music without having to lift a finger. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is one of the guys who I do it for, and my daughter as well.
Yeah, man. It goes back to the layers, man. You gotta extend it. You know, teach the kids so they can know.
Facts.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Yeah, man.
So let me ask you this question. So when did it happen? What was the moment where, I mean, because obviously we talked about, you know, what kind of spurred you on, what got you into hip hop, you know, the catalyst. We talked about, the influence, like Lil Wayne. But when was the first time that you actually had a chance to go out and perform in front of people, like, or that moment where you started spitting and you like, sounds pretty good, like other people was telling you how it was going down?
So we used to have it used to be a club out in the country on Highway 86 called The Ship. And if you're an old head from North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, you know about The Ship. Like, The Ship is legendary. So I think I was in 8th or 9th grade, and they had the team parties out there too sometime, and they had a freestyle contest. And I was rapping. I was going against this guy named Earl, and I'm rapping, and I got to a bar, and I said something like, I got the Averex boots and the Timberland jeans. The crowd went crazy. They went crazy. Even though I had said it backwards or whatnot, they went crazy. And from that point there, I was like, okay, I can really battle rap, you know what I'm saying? But the funny thing was, I never had anybody ever say, hey, you need to make a record. You know, I had nobody say that at all. And I think that's what kind of pushed my career back a little bit, because I didn't start making records till about 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, it was that moment, man. It was a freestyle contest out in the country at The Ship. going against my boy Squilly D, aka Earl McDaniels, and when the crowd went crazy and I got that reaction, it was like a high that I'd never felt before. So that right there just made me want to battle everybody, and I did. Lunchtime in the morning before class started in the common area with all the students, we beating on the trash can and battle rapping.
So what was the next transition with that? You know, because you started with that. You know, so what was the next transition? Because there's a lot, like you said, you only started actually making, you know, music until maybe like 5 years ago. But you know, what's the evolution of that?
So fast forward to maybe like 2 years later. Now I think this is like my senior year. I go and do another freestyle contest in at the bowling alley in Durham, and I had no crowd. Pretty much, even though I was from Durham, because I didn't go to high school in Durham, a lot of people didn't know me like that. So I was kind of in there like alone. So I go. I didn't win that contest. I got second place because it was like a little tournament. But right there was like the point where I was like, I might want to start making a record because somebody started talking about it, but I didn't know what to do at that time. So I had a homeboy, and this is about 5 or 6 years later, who was been rapping since forever. And I started writing for him. I started writing choruses for him, and I was in the music videos, and I'm like, man, dang, like, why am I not trying to do this for myself? Like, what's the point of me actually rapping and not doing it for myself? And my cousin Tyler hit me up, and one of our homeboys, Tyrone Corbett, aka Booney Boy, he was already making beats. He had a little record label together. So I went over there and I recorded my first song. And from right there, man, I just fell in love with it because the recording process was the most fun for me, like rapping and hearing myself, and then the little tweaks and the little reverbs and things you could do. That was so exciting because for once in my life, I was actually centered as, you know, number one on the project, and I could actually do something that was meaningful for myself. I never had that before, you know what I'm saying? I grew up as a only kid, but my mother and father weren't around. I was raised by my grandparents, so I was around everybody else's kids. I didn't really have a solo type growing up where I felt like I was special because I was having to do things with everybody else because my mom and dad weren't, you know, in my life at that time. Well, not in my life, but not significant in my life at that time.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Like making a baby, man, is always, that's the fun part, you know.
Right.
You know,
especially in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna continue to chop it up with Big Stet and get into some things with him. But what I want to do is also get into some topics in hip hop that have been kind of circling around. But before we do that, I would like to play a little snippet of one of his joints, you know what I mean, and get him to kind of talk to the making of the song and you know, the origin and all that stuff. And then we'll get into some other topics and then maybe hear something else from him a little later. But let's get into this first joint. Now, let me see if it plays out the gate the right way. If it doesn't, I'll just have to play it a different way, but that's okay. You know, that's the power of stuff happening live on YouTube. It is what it is.
Thanks.
All right. So this track is called 05 You Know It.
No, just 05, you know.
Oh, is it my bad? Oh, so I don't know why I got that it from. So disregard. Oh man,
it's all good. No,
so
it's all good. Because if they look it up on the internet, it'll still come up as 05, you know.
Okay, cool. All right. So disregard the it that I added to the graphic of it. So you know, whatever. It's 05, you know. My bad. But you know, it's a dope joint. I think y'all will definitely enjoy it. So let's get this up.
Hey man, you know you're gonna have to do a part 2 to this, right?
Oh wait, sorry. Let me bring it back because I gotta put this out first. Please disregard. There's gonna be a point where you hear it chop and skip over. I didn't have enough time to really mix it, so it is what it is. Don't kill them. This is not him. He would not put something out like this. This is me slicing it together. So, all right, let me go back.
Hey man, you know you're gonna have to do a part 2 to this, right? Yeah, I know.
Now everybody say, oh, 5, you know. 05, you know it, and everybody say 05, you know. 05, you know it. Probably just the grease from the Phillies you fried. I think Darby was Jamaican, but Mike and Clee dog beat his ass cause he was hating. 5X white tee, white ones, Jabot jeans, red monkeys. I got mine from the Buckhorn Flea. You know we didn't have unique styles yet, but Big L came back and slowly put us on the map again. You know Hillsborough was the former capital until Sir Walter Raleigh came and took up all the capital. No Hills Hospital, Bull City, she had to go. I was born at Duke back then, Durham Regional. I had to fight every weekend for no reason, bro. Horns come out, but that's a Bull City secret though. Used to keep.
I know. You're like, yo, why you? Yeah. I'm sorry, yo. You know how
happened to
YouTube
me
do,
just now.
man.
Listening to it, I'm like, yo, man, why you stopping? Oh yeah, I forgot. We're doing a podcast.
You know how YouTube do. So I'm like, hey, yo, but and the flow on this is immaculate, and just the words, the words that he's spitting, man, it gets even better. And I should have, excuse me, I wish I would have added, the part where he was talking about that he mentioned of him being like J. Cole and Jay-Z and Usher. That's a part of the song too, but I had to try to chop it up a little bit. So, but yay, that allows y'all to say, you know what, I want to hear more of it. So definitely seek it out. And he's on iTunes. You can catch him on that, and also on SoundCloud, man. But
Yeah,
anyway, brother,
it's Stetson Clark on every major platform: Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Tidal. Whatever you listen to music on, Stetson Clark, STETSONCLARK. I just dropped some new music today, actually. It came out today. Dropped that 05, Get 'em Stet in a song called True Life. So y'all make sure y'all check it out, man. Give it a listen. If you don't like it, it is what it is. But I promise once you listen, you probably going to listen to some more.
Well, I mean, that was my first introduction to I mean, I was sitting on the side looking on the. I'm doing like this, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's some good stuff. So I just posted the link to your SoundCloud too just now.
Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. I just want to say that. Oh, go ahead, Ron.
No, I was going to ask you. But you go ahead. I want to ask you how the whole song came about and the process of creating it, and stuff like that.
I think a lot of times as artists, we shy away from not necessarily pain or beef or anything like that. But when you put real stuff in songs, that's what makes it dynamic and unique. That's what makes people gravitate to it. Something about it being true, people can hear instantly over something made up. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds good. And every part of that song from the beginning to the end is 100% facts. There was a lot of things that happened in the summer of 2005 when I graduated high school. And, I had to bring that story to life and put it in a song, and it's all real. It's nothing fake about it at all. It was some hating going on from a guy who literally, whenever he was with me, he would get girls because I would bag one and he could have a friend. Like, it was real life, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, everything from playing Pretty Ricky over 1,000 times. Well, not 1,000, maybe 100, but however long Pretty Ricky played for 100 times, grind on me and that girl went in the bathroom the whole entire time. And that's back in the day, you know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with now, But yeah, man, it just, I just wanted to put a real story that happened as it happened, step by step, and that's what it was.
Yeah. No, it's dope. It's dope. The sound of the music and it just really goes with the way you tell the story. And I think it's definitely very relatable. I know a lot of people can relate to the stories. And it's just good music, man. It has, the cadence on it is great. The words are fine. Y'all go check it out, man. Stetson Clark on iTunes, on SoundCloud. And support the brother, but you're gonna hear a lot of good stuff, man.
Yo, that song actually started a real beef. so I say over lame Lonnie house, the chickens I will provide. Lonnie's a real person. So when he heard it, because one of my homeboys that I knew was gonna sent it to him. And I'm like, the last I heard of you, you were talking junk about me. So not that I'm mad at you now, but I'm going to put the real in the song. I'm not going to put no fake in the song. So he was mad. He wanted to go to war over it. And I'm with whatever. I don't start nothing, even though I guess you could say, oh, well, you started that, even though I didn't. But it was real life in the song. Like it ain't nothing fake. So I told him, I said, if you can tell me where I told one line of song, I'll take it down. Or I'll give you, or I'll have you create a ASCAP or a BMI, and I'll put you on the song to give you credit if you tell me where I told one lie. Gotcha. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. There was no lies in it.
Right.
He was just upset because I told the truth, So it is what it is.
That's what I hear when I hear the music too. Like, I told you I went through like maybe like 10, a little bit more than 10 songs I went through, and then just like you're not just spitting, but you just letting it go. You know what I'm trying to say? Like whatever you had in mind for the song, you're letting it go. A lot of people they'll have a song and they're kind of like they have marbles in their mouth, or they want to say something but they just can't get it together. But I don't find that in your music. I find that everything is it's just coming out. You know what I'm saying? So
let me ask you guys a question too. What do you think about my beat selection? Because my beat process, I use BeatStars a lot because now you can actually write on the app while you're listening to beats. BeatStars is an incredible app. I go through when I'm on my music thing, I go through about 2,000 beats a night.
Wow.
And a lot of, I'm telling you, man, a lot of people don't have that process because I want to find that one beat out of 1,000 beats that's going to gravitate to your soul and then put the right words with it to actually make it happen. So what do you guys think about beat selection as far as my music goes? I
mean, personally, and Eru can attest to it and how he feels about it. Personally, I think from what I've heard, your beat selection has been on point. Like it's definitely matched the vibe of your lyrics, or at least what I think you're trying to get across. And me, I even asked you, I was like, because some of these beats, like they fit the song so good that I'm like, can I play this? I'm like, I'm like, can I get? I don't want to get copyrighted. I'm like, right. Because I'm like, it's like this. It puts me right back in the pocket of what I think this should sound like. You know what I mean? There's certain songs that you hear that the beats are just immaculate. Like it works so well with the song and it conveys the feeling that you're trying to get across. And then there's other beats that are like, oh man, I wish he spit this on a different beat. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Nas. I'm not saying it's your fault, brother, but back in the day, y'all know, like that Nas rapped on a lot of songs that didn't necessarily have the beat that he should have rapped on. Same with Jay-Z. Jay-Z's rapped on a lot of songs with beats that necessarily didn't, but he liked it. So it worked for him, but as for the average consumer, we were like, we wish you was on a different type of beat for this song. And so from what I've heard, a lot of the songs, I think you picked the right beats to convey a certain flow and and it's not like, it would have been weird had I heard this, how you flowing on this, and you like have like a type beat in the background. And that would have been weird. So, right. Yeah, I think you found the right pocket in regards to that. Eru?
Yeah, I agree with that. Just to add to it, like the hat match the shoes, man. Just the
shoes match the hat match the shoes. Okay, I see you listening for real. Okay, that's respect.
Yeah. Because some people do that. Okay.
And I'm dropping Never Ending Story. That's gonna be a special song because when I shoot the video for it, I'm gonna try to use NC State's art department to shoot the video along with Cam Riley. That's a museum just for the visuals, and that'll be my first ever video. So that song is gonna be big, man. Like it's gonna be one of those Tyler the Creator type vision videos, or maybe like a Swiss Beats type vision, because it's that type of beat, it's that type of aura with it. It's gonna be a lot of twists and turns. Like I want to produce something like that because I haven't done a music video yet until this day. So I want to come out with the first one and actually, do a big bang where it's gonna go crazy.
That's
gotcha. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I'm excited for it, man. I mean, listen, if you can, I already told you, I think you're super talented. I'm assuming that people who are tuned into the show, are listening, they can tell that you're super talented as well. And if you got visuals to match that same type of musicality that you got, even better. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And so we're gonna talk a little bit more about him and his musical creation. We got at least another track that we can play to showcase that, maybe two, depending on time. But I wanted to kind of pick you guys' brains about a couple current events with regards to hip hop and this thing we call the music business. Guys, listen.
Go ahead and say it.
Kanye West is mad at somebody, y'all. I don't know if y'all heard me. Kanye West is mad at. I know, like, who else who could he be mad at? He mad at everybody, right? Guess who he's mad at now, y'all? Yeah. I ain't gonna believe this one. Kanye
He's mad with Jesus.
Oh, somebody's wild in the comments.
Oh my god.
Kanye is mad with Jesus, y'all. He is mad with Jesus. You know why? Because he prayed to Jesus and Jesus didn't show up.
Oh my god.
I don't want to say didn't show up, but the when I think about anybody who prays, the first term that always comes up may not come when you want him, but he'll always be there on time.
Right.
So
right.
So if you want to rush God or Jesus into performing anything for you under your time, you've already failed at whatever you're trying to pray for. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot I can say about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just wanted to put it out there because just letting you know the mind of Kanye, where he's at with it right now. I mean, listen, Kanye's always mad with somebody. Kanye has his reasons. Kanye is Kanye. He's just Kanyeing. That's all he's doing. So I let him be great, man. I let him do him. I just thought it was interesting when I wasn't going to put it up, but then I was like, nah, that's a Kanye thing. I got to put that up. That's Kanye being Kanye. So
he's on a different wavelength, man.
He is. He definitely is. Don't leave your main man in New York out of the trouble of the Twilight Zone. Let's talk about Dr. Love.
Oh man. Well, I mean,
we're talking about Daddy.
It's so funny now. They don't say pause anymore or anything like that. They say you being too ditty. That's the new terms now. Stop being so ditty.
Damn.
Not zesty, not spicy. Just stop being too ditty.
Damn. Wow. Is that what's happening? Jeez.
It fits. He's a freaky dude, man. He's been saying and doing things for a lot of years that I don't know if it was part of the culture, because you look at R. Kelly, everybody knew what R. Kelly was doing. You can go down the line to a bunch of different cats. You know what these guys were doing.
When is Jay-Z gonna get called to the forefront? He was dating Aaliyah too. Don't forget. 16-year-old, 17-year-old Aaliyah. And then she didn't like him, and all of a sudden she started dating Dame, and then Dame just magically falls off. Jay-Z, they say Jay-Z had something to do with R. Kelly going to jail too. That all stems back from Aaliyah. You got to think about it. Once Aaliyah stopped liking him or didn't like him at all, he got real jealous. Then, all in the same month, Beyonce with a struggling single, Aaliyah passes away. Soon as she passes away, Beyonce.
Risen, yeah. That's like a major hip hop conspiracy right there.
That has floated out there in the past. I mean, and it goes to the connections about the inner circle and these celebrities and how they're involved in other stuff, and it's a whole bigger thing about how things move behind the scenes that we're not privy to. But yeah, I can't say either way whether it's true, whether it's not true, because there's definitely, it could be a lot of things happening in the world that you don't know about that be happening behind you. Like it's not for your eyes. And I listen, it's curious. It's curious.
I always say it's five sections to society. The first section, that's the one where we don't get to see what's going on at all. at all. These are the people who are the most elite in the world that we never get to see what's going on. Second, there's a section of them that don't get to see what's going on there. They close, but they don't even get to see. Then you have that third section, which is kind of almost getting out to the people that are assistants to the people who are assistants to the masters or the first class. Then you have the fourth cycle, which are like me and you, people who actually seek the knowledge and want to understand. Then you have the fifth general public who only believes what they see. So they're clueless to what really is going on and happening behind door 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. They have no idea. Right. Only reason why we in door 4 actually know is because we actually seek that knowledge and we're trying to dive deep and really figure out what's going on, or we have a connection with a music industry plug that can actually give us a little more insight on what's going on. Right. So, you know, it's different, man. It a lot of people who out here walking around, there's some people who think that Thanksgiving and Christopher Columbus and all these things that we normalize aren't evil, aren't bad. You know what I'm saying?
I got issues with my parents, man, because they had us drawing pictures and painting stuff. They knew some of them knew what was up. Why were you making me make pilgrim hats when I was a kid, man? You know?
a pagan holiday, like literally a genocide and a mass slaughter of a peaceful group of people who didn't do anything to anyone.
Right.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, we already know, like, our society and everything that we know to be true or what is real is all built on a lot of lies and stuff and mistruths. It's just the only thing that I would say, the good thing about today's society is a lot more young people are searching for answers. They're just not buying everything they hear. That's good, right? But then the bad thing is, because they want answers, they also sometimes have formulated opinions. And so stuff that is sacred or stuff that you should preserve and listen to or adhere to, you know, is falling by the waysides. Like, if I don't believe in this, then even this is questionable. And, you know, sometimes if you don't have faith or belief in anything, you know, you have no path, no direction, you lost. So, you know, you got to believe in something, and whether, you know, it could be your own belief. It don't have to be what everybody else believes in, but hopefully you believe in something that's right and that's just, because when you get caught up in the stuff of your own beliefs and you like whatever it is, and you just like, you know, YOLO, you believe in YOLO, that's tough. That might be different.
Just like we talked about earlier, you know, before you can believe in anything, you got to believe in yourself, for one, and you got to love yourself. A lot of times we get into situations as younger Black men in certain impoverished situations or just certain things going on around us, and we don't have anyone to talk to or express things that we go through. So, you know, a lot of times, a lot of these Black brothers don't have self-love. And when you don't have self-love, you capable of anything. Right. You don't mind going and killing somebody because you taking that life away doesn't impact your soul, because you don't love yourself. You don't realize that what you're doing is not only hurting you, it's hurting a multitude of people. So, you know,
that's a fact. That's a fact. 100%.
Bring it back to this guy Puffy, man. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, or you don't have that knowledge or whatever, self, you know, knowledge of self or whatever the hell it is, you know, somebody like Puffy will come through and say, hey, you want to stay to the next, you know, to the next session, you know,
let me take you shopping.
Let me take you shopping. Yeah, why you don't come to none of my birthday parties?
Yo, damn, Playboy, you look like you wear like a 32, 34 over there. Let me check that inseam and take you shopping, Playboy. Take that.
That's why, like, you know what, you know, it makes you look at things a certain way, right? Because you know, 50 Cent is like one of the biggest trolls ever, right? And, you know, a lot of people bought into everything that 50 was doing as the gospel. Now, we know now that he's an entertainer. He does things for entertainment purposes and for sales related purposes. He knows what sells, he knows what works and what draws the attention to what he wants to draw it to. But then, and not everything, but a lot of stuff, there's always that underlying truth that 50 hits you with. He may not come, I mean, in some cases he will come right out and say it, but in sometimes he just kind of like leads you to it. Like, nah. So shout out to 50, because 50 don't care. You know.
Well, let me throw a word at you guys. Gatekeepers. You know, like when these guys get power, like Puffy and these guys, they got power through themselves, you know, built through hip hop and stuff like that. So when they got to the point where they can be a gatekeeper, why did they become freaky deaky you know, pedophiles and stuff like that? I don't understand, why does it always get to that? Because I mean, right now, like we're doing a podcast or whatever, no telling how big the podcast could go, whether or not we branch off and do other things, whatever. But never, not my mindset am I ever thinking about, you know, locking, you know, drugging some dude and doing unmentionables to him. I know it's never, it's not in my mind at all. So I don't understand why these guys always end up like that. You know?
I think what it is, when they get just like, you know, Puff was with, I can't remember the record label he was with, but then they fell out and he started his own
Uptown Records.
Uptown Records. So I think with that, like he became independent, and then he said, you know, I think somebody came to him, or whoever he partnered with at the time with Bad Boy, or whoever his investor was, and was like, you know, you could do it on your own 100%, but it's going to take you 10 to 20 years to get right here. Or we could do a little something right here, and I can fast track you. And what you're going to get in 10 to 20 years, you'll get in the next 3 to 4 years. And then you'll become one of us to a certain extent. And you'll have to do the same thing, but we'll let you keep fast tracking and, you know, jumping that 10 years and making what you're going to make in 10 years and 5 years. I really think that's how these conversations go.
Yeah,
it could be. I don't put it past. And shout out to the chat once again. Appreciate y'all. Deron Wayne in the building. D-Ras is here. Appreciate y'all. And Jay Boogie said something. He said a lot of people, and this is kind of goes back to Kanye's thing. A lot of people ask for blessings in their prayers, but never have themselves in position to receive their asking. That's facts, man. That's facts. Shout out to you, Jay Boogie. Appreciate you, bro, for the words. And D-Ras, obviously, Deron Wayne said wisdom, Jay Boogie, but D-Ras says he is really saying he is mad at himself. You know, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, I mean, Kanye is different. It's a different spirit.
Well, you know, I've always been taught to believe if you pray for something, you can't worry about it. The second that you pray for it, if you worry about it, then your prayers are null. You got to start over and pray again. Right. You know, once you pray, it's in God's hands. So, you know, a lot of times I think Kanye is over worried about what people won't think about him, so he has to give them something to think about. You know, he goes quiet for these times and he's not really in the news, and then all of a sudden he does a podcast and he's back up in views again. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows what to do and what not to do, and the public and the media who actually control things know when to put him on TV and when not to.
Right. And you know, listen, to I guess Kanye kind of fits in that. He hasn't done anything to the level of what we've been talking about, like with the Diddy's and R. Kelly's and all that stuff. But
that we don't know about.
Well, that we know about, facts. I mean,
Allegedly.
Some of the stuff he does is already weird enough, right? It's not in that same level that we know about, but the stuff he does do is weird enough that we look at it, we might judge him, we question it. But I feel like when there's people out there that obviously I've never experienced, I never will experience, this is my one life to live, and I don't know that level of creative genius, but just the minds of some of these creative people that are so high level, the Kanyes, and I'm going to throw Diddy in there too, in a different light, because Diddy may not be the creative genius as far as he's not the producer. He don't mix the records. But he has a great ear for talent. He knows what works. He's studied and learned how to capitalize. He's a great businessman. He knows how a product can sell. He knows how to sell the product. Like, that is still a skill within itself, because anybody could go out and say, yeah, let's make this a hit, or let's sell this product and people are going to buy it up. If you don't know how to do it, if you don't have the draw, it don't matter. Like, he understands what works. And so that's a talent in itself. I mean, he's a billionaire in his own right.
A marketing guru. So yeah, so that's his, in its own way, creative genius, right? But these other guys, the R. Kellys, I mean, we're talking about R. Kelly as being like, you know, especially for this day and age, or our growing up, he's a musical genius.
his own songs, the songs he writes for other people, the music he puts together. So like these guys, like they have so much genius, but there's something else that comes along with that. It's even with some of the best players that you see in sports. They've done some, like they've got so much energy. You go out there and you look at these guys, like this guy's a monster on the field. Look at how he tore that guy up. Yeah, because he's got some rage inside of him. Like there's certain things that kind of go along with this stuff. And so, yeah, it kind of is what it is, man. I don't know. There's some place. I mean, I guess you could look at it like thankful that. Nah, I don't know. Forget it. I ain't even going to say that because it don't work. It don't work anyway. But that's that. That's enough about that. It is what it is, guys. But to something else, the little lighter. This is just a tidbit. Cardi B was kind of she was interviewed the other day, or not too long ago, and it turns out, Glorilla has been kind of throwing her name out and said something in jest like, "Oh yeah, that's family," with regards to Cardi B. And
they're
Cardi
actually
B family,
cousins.
They're actually cousins. So look at that, Cardi B family ties with Glorilla. They are actually cousins.
Her dad's brother went to Tennessee and made some babies.
Hey, you know what I mean?
You can kind of see the resemblance too. They're kind of like two weird looking chicks. They got like this eye thing going on.
The eyes are definitely crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, and then plus Glorilla looks a little different now. I guess she had some surgery or something. So
she
I
had
don't know.
Breast implants, so she definitely looks a whole lot better. But what do you guys think of the Cardi B new video? She dropped a snippet of it on Instagram. I don't know. I feel like she kind of putting herself out there after this supposed breakup with her and Offset.
Oh, you're talking about the Enough? That's a song?
Yeah. The outfits were crazy.
But that's women in general, man. Whenever somebody's in a relationship, it's always, oh, my boo, they all nice. But how you know somebody's single is that their Instagram gets like, it turns into like a OnlyFans almost. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah, man. I got a few friends like that. It's like, look who's single. Look who's single. Oh my God.
Yeah, you could tell. And yeah, they it's just like you win someone who may have been big their whole life, right? And bigger weight, and is not used to anything other than that, right? And then something happens and whatever, they lose weight for whatever reason. They could be sick and they lost weight, or they worked out and they lost weight, and then they get like a new body. They want to show it off. It's like it's a different thing. Like,
that's crazy you say that. I'm on Instagram yesterday scrolling. I see this girl, huge, like close to 300 pounds. She loses all this weight, get a tummy tuck. But when she was big, she was black. Let me explain. She a light-skinned chick. When she was a big girl, she was black. But when she lost all that weight, she became the whitest person that I ever seen. Like, and she ended up breaking up with her black boyfriend and marrying a white man. I was like, yo.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm not racist at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking facts on when you were a big girl, you were black, you were talking black, you were acting black, but then you lose this weight and all of a sudden you gotta change everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's life. But it goes back to it's so many different reasons. We don't know. I mean, I feel a certain way about myself. I'm fine. Other people don't feel they're fine. Like, they look at themselves in the mirror, they see something different than what we see. And for some people, like, shout out to one of the, the best of our time, Lil' Kim. We know Lil' Kim, and Lil' Kim has changed a lot over the years. And then after she changed again, and she changed again. And we're like, I get it. We thought she was fine. And then you changed, right. And we was even rocking with you when you changed, but then you kept changing. And it's like, because the people some people just see themselves differently. They look in the mirror. They don't necessarily, no matter what, it's tough for them to like what they see. And then you change it, and now you see something else. And you're like, oh, no, I don't know if this works. And then, there's imperfections. It's, what can you do?
It's human nature. It goes back to the praying too. If you're praying for stuff, whatever, because you expected somebody to come save you, but you're not doing the work, in order to receive that blessing when it does come to you, Same thing
Yeah.
with the power. Once you get the power, like you really know somebody once you give them a little bit of power and some money or something. Like you really see who they are. So somebody this heavy set, it's the same thing. Once they lose the weight and whatever, now you're gonna see their real personality because this is what they strive to be, but they couldn't be that person because they were trapped behind whatever thing that they had, man. So
Right. Right.
I used to hang
That's
out with some
100%.
I used to hang out with some guys who had all the money, but they ain't had no game. So when we be out at the club, I'd be the brokest one in there, but they would send me out to the crowd to go get the girls because I had the game to bring them back to the booth.
right.
And I'm like, yo, am I moving backwards? You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of those guys, and this is from my earlier, like the early 2000s, well, 2010 and below, probably like 2006. These guys were not interested in helping their partners get money. Like nobody ever was like, yo, you around us while we hustling, let me put you on so you can get money too. They were so jealous or caught up in what they were doing. I think with me, they like, if we get him started, he might can grow up and blow up and be bigger than us. So we never going to turn him on to no money like that.
Yeah, it's all human
Yeah.
nature. Ugliness of being human,
It's very true.
It's crazy.
I got one more topic for us to get into, and then I want to play another snippet of a song from our special guest today, Mr. Big Stet in the building. Please, if y'all interested and want to show love, you know what I mean. He is Stetson Clark on iTunes or on SoundCloud. Support the music. It's we won't steer you wrong. Y'all already heard some of it. But there is one more story that I think we should talk about real quick, and that's the unfortunate passing of the first female rapper signed to Def Jam Records, Boss. Unfortunately, she passed away. She is a pioneer in the game. She died at 54 years old just recently. If y'all remember back in the 1990s, she was signed to DJ West, the West Coast offshoot of Russell Simmons' Def Jam recordings, and she was the first female signee. She had a 1993 single called "Deeper." It had like it says here it was an interpolation of the Red Hot Chili Peppers "Under the Bridge." And she was definitely kind of like the roughneck style. She was one of the originators of that style. We had a couple female rappers like that. The Lady of Rage, she rocked rough and tough with her Afro puffs. But yeah, man, shout out to Boss, pioneering female rap and that style of music. And at that time, being signed to Def Jam was something. You know what I mean? Like Def Jam all throughout 80s and the early 90s. Like we know how big Def Jam was as a music entity. So yeah, man, shout out to her. I don't know if you guys are you familiar with Boss?
I just listened to it, and I have heard that song, but it had to be years ago when I heard that song.
Yeah, she's like a deep cut, man. She's definitely a pioneer, but for people to really recognize it, they have to like really do some digging to get that vibe back.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes back to it's it's dual. It's like you could be ahead of your time, or it's just tough to really be able to put the combination of lyrics with good music behind you, because there's so many different types and styles of performers. Like and there's people out there that we've seen growing up watching hip hop that are nice, right? Oh, that person's nice, but can't find a hit record. You know what I mean? Or that person's nice but can't find the right beat. Or the person always got all the beats, but the lyrics are a little lacking. There's just always something. And so unfortunately there comes a time where there's certain artists that kind of get left by the wayside because they can't really put it all together. Or one last thing, your music, like I said, going back to ahead of the time or at the wrong time. You're on the roughneck stuff and music is softened out. Back we watched guys like Will Smith, the Fresh Prince. I mean, he's obviously transcended because he's changed his style up and found the niche over the years. But his style of music, Kid and Play.
Mhm.
They was on the airwaves having a good old time. Everybody loved the dance music and being able to party. And then NWA came along and changed everything. Like, so yeah, it just happens.
Just think about the influence that MC Hammer had. 420 million.
Yeah, man. He was an entity all in himself, man.
Facts.
Man used to travel with 50 to 100 people, feed, clothe, and house 50 to 100 people every day for like what, 8 years straight?
Yeah.
It's nuts, man. Listen, well, they did do a Hammer story, right? They did a biopic about him, didn't they?
Yeah, they need to do another one. The first one is old. They need to do it again because it doesn't really give a full story on who Hammer was, because Hammer was a gangster too.
Exactly. I was saying, like, they should really dive into Hammer again.
I think he was like Crenshaw Mafia or something like that. He was Crip something. I think it was Crenshaw Mafia Crip or something like that. Anyway, you mess with Hammer, he'll pull up. He'll have them boys pull up on you, or he'll pull up himself. So he wasn't no joke, man. He wasn't no punk. He was a real gangster.
Yeah, he was a shot caller in Oakland, right? Basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Big homie, you have to go check in with him before you do anything.
You better go check in with him, or find your body in Vallejo somewhere. Shout out to E40 Belafonte. You saw what E40 did to Biggie. Biggie want to pull up in Vallejo like it's cool. Nah, man.
Yeah, he in a way it's weird because they talk about Tupac so much, like he was so many different people in one body.
Mm-hmm.
But Hammer really is a lot like that too. Maybe not the advocate, or like Tupac was. But as far as the others, like the rough part, then the really good heart, and like there's so many sides to Hammer. Like it's wild. It's wild, man. You don't see that too often. That a person can have that reputation, that name for themselves in the streets, but then be the type to bring everybody on tour like that and pay for everybody, and at the risk of losing all your money. Like wild stuff.
He should have, obviously he should have had, one person in his ear saying, "Hey man, why don't we put up half of this, cut the budget on what we doing, and you can still do it. We're just gonna do it at a lower level." Like, it's crazy, man.
But in some way, oh, my fault, Era. I was gonna say real quick before I forget. In some ways, I also kind of looked at it like not only was he taking care of his people, but Hammer was talented to an extent, right? You know what I mean? It's not like he was the best rapper, but he knew how to ride. He knew how to ride the beat. He knew how to perform and get you in the seats and enjoy. So those people that he was paying for really were the part of his show. Like it helped the show and made it what it was. So I think
most of them were dancers.
He felt he needed to do it. Yeah, exactly. My fault, E. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna connect back to that gatekeeper stuff, man, because when people get a lot of money too, they don't really know what to do with it, But guys like Puffy, they ended up doing what they're doing in the media now. A guy like Hammer, he's not in the limelight or anything like that. But at the time, he had a lane where he would just help whoever he could help because he didn't know how to, so he just helped everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I wish that that somebody was in his ear to help him out, to help, because he was doing something good. So I wish that somebody would come out. It's like now there's guys now that do have the power to do that. I mentioned Busta Rhymes before already, but Busta Rhymes still talking about cocaine. You know what I'm saying? He's like in his 50s, he's still rapping about coke. It's like, what the hell, man? You're a gatekeeper. You shouldn't be, in doing videos robbing a breakfast spot in a video. Like, what are you, like 50 something years old, man? You're a gatekeeper. So he should be the one building like enterprises like that where he's giving back to the community, creating jobs and teaching people about the hip hop, is bringing people up with him. But these guys, like, everything is all messed up. Everything is all messed up and disorganized. That's why we have the problems we have in the culture.
Facts. That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, before we get out of here, I want to play another track from our guy Big Stet in the building and get his thoughts on this one as well. I mean, we could play a bunch of tracks actually, but for the sake of time, I want to get this joint up there real quick. This one's called Decisions, and this is by Big Stet. Yeah, let's play a little of this one real quick.
work pays off, but it come with no days off. And you did it all through the struggle. Just to show you a true hustler, believe me, God never make it this easy for those who can handle the storm when it's breezy. And you did it all with amazing grace and decided not to be petty, so we saving face. Now he looking sad cause he couldn't keep you. Looking mad hungry and deceitful. Should've kept your shit in place. Taking a woman out of amazing space is just crazy. Hard to believe that you had.
I know, but that makes you want to go listen to it. That's right. Get yourself over to iTunes or SoundCloud and support this brother, man. You know the music. I'm telling. This is like this. Oh, man, this is other joint. True Life. Ooh.
Now you got to hear Time Heals All.
That's a good one too, yeah. Time Heals All.
Time Heals All, man. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little angry when I made Time Heals All because somebody was like questioning my rap, like, can I really rap type? And I'm like, look, man, I don't do certain beats just because I feel like I'm elevated past it. I said I can rap on anything. I'm like, but don't come for me, you know. So, you know, it kept going on, and then I got into the booth, and you know. They say time heals all. Well, I'm infinity, filled with metaverse energy. Niggas be acting finicky, trying to disrupt the synergy. Nigga had plenty cheese, never no rat tendencies. Snitches only mattered to knowledge they couldn't get from me. Every day go hard for haters and niggas who only envy me simply. I'm a fungus, no antidote, fights or synthesizing. Come on, man.
I'm talking about it. That's what I'm saying, man. Yes, sir. Listen, man, you're a very talented individual, brother, with tons of great music, and I'm happy that you know you were here to be on the show to be introduced to even more people that may not have heard from you or know who you are. And I'm definitely enjoying this. I haven't heard everything yet. I've heard a lot. Still, there's stuff I need to get to. Yeah. And I haven't even heard even the songs that I have heard that I'm like, I like it. I haven't heard the whole songs yet. So yeah, definitely, man, definitely a dope artist, and can't say enough of how happy we are to have you here to be able to chop it up with you. Before we get out of here, I want to ask you real quick, what's next for Big Stet? What you got going on? I know you kind of alluded to something, but what's tell us about that again.
I got my first radio interview in Charlotte, North Carolina coming up here real soon. So just trying to push it out there, man. I'm trying to do something a little bit different. I'm not trying to necessarily go the same route. I'm really just putting good music in people's face and making you make a decision on whether or not you're gonna rock with it or you're not. You know, I'm not trying to put the glitz and glam and renting cars for videos and jewelry and all this fake stuff out here so you can look at my image and like me. I want you to hear the bars, the actual lyrics, and say, hold up, that happened in my life before. I understand what he's talking about. You know, I want you to fall in love with the actual music, you know. Don't fall in love with my image, fall in love with the music. So, you know, that's really what I'm trying to do, man. And there's a lot of good platforms like this one right here that actually give underground artists, man, an opportunity to really showcase their talent and prove to the world that you got just as much talent as somebody who mainstream. You just may have not been at the right place at the right time to show it. So, you know, yeah. I'm out here, man. I if I got to battle, I don't even battle, but if I got to battle somebody, I'll battle, you know. If somebody want me to do a show, I'll do a show because I already have the music in the repertoire. If somebody got a beat for me that they think I sound good on and they want to collab, you know, be serious about it and let me know because I'm with it, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like getting a verse from J. Cole before he became J. Cole when he was just Jermaine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Dope.
But it's crazy though. I want to say this before we get out of here. I don't how I rap now is not how I rap before. And saying that I had a heart attack in 2020 and I lost a lot of my memory from that. So the things that I'm spitting now is not even taken back from how I used to rap. I felt like I used to be way more dynamic before then. So, you know, I'm working on myself to try to dig back in that memory and become, you know, more explosive with my bars and, you know, just try to create that attraction that people really want to hear, man.
Well, that's amazing, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that, you know, but This right here, I almost died in 2018, from pneumonia. I was in the hospital twice, almost died, man. So that's what gave birth to this whole podcasting thing. I always wanted to do it, so
I had
Mhm.
I had COVID pneumonia in 2021 after I got back from the heart attack. I had a heart attack in Vegas, and that next year I got COVID pneumonia. I had it for 3.5 months.
Wow.
Almost took me out of here. So that's crazy. Me and you got that connection right there. A lot of people don't know how that feel, man.
Yeah, you can, when they talk about the flashing light or whatever it is, you see all that stuff, man. And when you come back for it, you see everything extremely clear.
Oh
So
yeah, I said from that point in time period that I would never ever let anything stress me out again after having that heart attack, And from then on, I've been living a stress-free life, My family's taken care of, my kids are taken care of. I'm in good health. Like the reason why I used to be called Big Stet, I used to be 250, you know what I'm saying? I'm 190 something now, but I used to be a menace in the streets. Like I was 250 and I was a bully and I didn't like who I was, So I'm glad that God put me through whatever I needed to go through in order to change me and to make me become who I am now.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, it's like you had to go through all that stuff just to just to get you to where you are now. And just look at this. Before you had the heart attack, whatever, now you can speak. You don't have to be that person anymore. Now you're this new person where through your words you can touch people,
It's a fact.
without having to go through all of that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Definitely. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, like a lot of people don't realize how close you actually are with somebody else until you actually hear their story, what they've actually been through. And you like, dang, man, I've been through the same thing. And I really never had anybody to talk to about it or really listen to anybody who went through it. And, once you start hearing the story from someone else, then you can start a process of your healing, you know what I'm saying, and getting back to your norm, because if you don't hear nobody else talk about it, you're going to feel like you isolated and that you're the only one that's going through it. When in reality, it's 1,000 more people going through the exact same thing that you're going through. So you gotta be willing to talk about it at any time. And I know it's hard for Black men to really express our issues and problems because we've been built different, over the years, but it's healthy, man. You got to talk about it and get it out so you can become a better you and help somebody else.
Facts. Yeah, man. Listen, this has been another great interview and conversation. And there's been a lot of gems and jewels that came out of this one too, man. That's why I really enjoy you, brother. I appreciate everything you got going on. I will be checking for you and supporting. And obviously, as things continue to go and grow, maybe we can have you back on in the future or do other things. If anything can pop up that we can do to help you, we definitely want to. And I always enjoy having these conversations and chopping up with my guy Eru. Final words, my brother.
Yeah, I'm the hip hop police, man. I got my little taste of stuff. Yeah, if it ain't real, I can't deal with it, man. So just I hope everybody when they come across the pod that that they see that in you. You know what I'm saying? Like the music, like I said, the music when you listen to it, you can tell that it's coming from a real place, man. So real recognizes real. That's what they say. So I guarantee that you're on the trajectory right now to reach somewhere. To reach your dreams or reach something that you in your wildest dreams that you never thought of, man. So just keep it up.
And to you too, man. I know I can speak with you guys separately, but I just appreciate you guys as Black men or men of color actually coming together to do something positive. It's so hard to get us together because egos play such a crazy dynamic in the Black community, man. And I wish that I wish that we could just take the ego out of everything and just come together collectively to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? I know it ain't gonna change overnight, but if a lot of ego was put aside like you guys do and how you illustrate it in this podcast, because the transition between both of you guys is immaculate. Like your point of view and perspective versus your point of view and perspective. Like we got to realize everybody different. Everybody born with their own eyes, so they're gonna see things different. So if you can understand and respect how somebody else feels without conscientiously putting your own thoughts in there to come to a common head, man, we can change everything.
Yeah.
Change
Appreciate
the world,
that,
dog.
man.
Yeah,
100%,
man. Yeah, you guys are inspiring, dog. So please never stop doing this. I was so excited when we talked on FaceTime the other day to do this. And like I said, whenever you need me, I'm here. I'm 100%. tuned in with Wrap Up Podcast, with the Front Stoop, with the NBA Wrap Up, with whatever y'all got going on. You know somebody having a showcase up there that's worth something, let me know. I'll come up there and win. That's my word. Like that's the type of animosity I'm rolling with now, So
yeah. Appreciate you, man. Once again, thank you for them kind words. And yeah, that's what we're looking to do, man. Whether it be this particular show, or if we got other ideas and we're doing other things, whatever it is that we can put our mind to and continue to put out and help grow, we are here for it. We just want to, have the opportunity to have this space where people can come and feel comfortable, and hopefully, more and more people get used to it happening and can depend on it, rely on it, and be a part of it. So we just gotta keep going, man. Consistency is important, but it's also just making sure our message is what we want it to be, and that people latch onto it and want to be a part of it. So, and people like you that can continue to come on the show and be a part of it, because this is, it's one thing just to have a show and bring somebody on. It's another thing to have a show and bring somebody on who can walk it and talk it, and that's what brings people back, because this is an incredible conversation. I can't wait for people on the replay gang to catch this one.
I'm
definitely going to try to put it out there.
Up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we all gonna be shining on this one. I'm going TikTok, Instagram, everything. So don't even worry about that. We're gonna be on.
Dope. Well, once again, I want to thank our guy Stetson Clark, Mr. Big Stet, in the building, for being here and rocking with us. Dope music, dope artist, dope person in general, man. So I mean, we got a lot in common, man. I didn't know how much but every time we talk, I'm finding out something more.
Right.
So definitely dope, man. Once again, it's always a pleasure to chop it up with my brother Eru.
Shout out to Eru. Oh, your backdrop.
The green screen fell. Oh man, it's live, baby. Now we definitely got to get out of here. The green screen fell. Anyway, yeah, man. It only happens in real life, bro. But look at that. Look at this. Look at
you got an assist. You got an assistant.
You know how it is. Anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for being here and rocking with us. And yeah, man, stay tuned. Please check out Stetson Clark on iTunes and SoundCloud. Support this brother. And we'll keep looking out for you in the future, man. And hey, guys, stay tuned. I don't know what the next show is going to be. I don't know who the next artist is going to be, but we're going to put something together. Yeah, and you definitely don't know. That's what makes it real. But we're going to have a good time, man. Thank you for tuning in to the wrap up on the Front Stoop. Shout out to my guy Simeon Russell for allowing us to have this platform to be able to do this.
Definitely.
We'll catch you on the next one. Like I said, I don't know. Hopefully it's next week. We'll see, but we'll keep you tuned in and keep you posted. We'll catch y'all. Have a great rest of your night. And once again, man, you know what I mean? Do something special. Love each other. We out.
No doubt.
Yo, that was fire.